Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, we are those people. We've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts podcast. Summer House Martha's Vineyard recap, season 1, episode 7. Be sure to like, subscribe, rate, and leave a review.
Just from that alone, you already know who and why we're late.
I'll own it. I fell asleep and I woke up at like 8:45 Central.
Uh-huh.
And I text you, I'm like, hey, I just woke up. I'm about to watch the show. So it wasn't drinking. I just took a nap. And here we are.
Hey, look, man, there's no shame in taking a nap. You're older now, okay? It's okay. I mean, look, so we had birthday bash here in Atlanta last night, right? So, big event, huge event, a lot of stuff happening there. If you're on the blogs, you've seen it because a lot of the stuff that popped off last night, which was an amazing event, right? But the day after, we did a brunch and bash. And great event today. Mayor of Atlanta was there. Everything was good. The drinks were there. So I came home and I took a nap too. Because, me and day drinking don't get along. It's like if I day drink, I can't say, all right, well, let's go to the club tonight. It's over. And this is not an old man thing. This has always been me. You've known me for a long time. If we start drinking in the middle of the day, that night is done.
I don't remember that. I think in college, I don't think we called it day drinking. We just called it drinking because this is what we did all the time. It wasn't like an activity. So, but I don't recall you not being able to hang or having to take a little power nap.
So my thing with drink has always been if I start drinking, right, and especially if I eat after that, then it's done. Like the buzz is gone, and getting it back is not going to happen. Any drinks I do after that is just because, right? So it's like there's never that. Some people can drink, eat, sleep, drink again, keep moving. Me, it's never been that. Like, yeah. Once it's time to go in, it's time to go in, and it's over. Let's go.
Well, the nap was taken, and I'm glad after watching this craziness on tonight's episode. So I'm glad I'm awake and alert.
And so do you have your drink now? Because, Robin says she has her drink today. El Ramey says, I got some wine chilling in the refrigerator, about to pour a nice tall glass. And No Channel says this, though. I want y'all to start a late jar. Because, when we're late because of me, you're quick to point that out. So, what? Thank you, No Channel. I think that's a great idea.
We could do that. And
it counts pre-show, too. It counts pre-show.
Yeah, we could do that, but you would be putting out way more money than I would. That's fine.
Oh.
I mean, I'm late once.
We'll have to count pre-show.
Okay. Well, pre-show. We're talking about practice?
We're talking about practice, yes.
Practice?
We are. Hilarious. All right, well, let's get to this rosé party, man. All this drinking, there was definitely some drinking going on in the house. Where we were last week, Shanice decides to make her appearance from the balcony. Rapunzel, let down your tops, obviously, because that's what she did, flashing everybody from the balcony, and still very unapologetic. She's like, look, man, I'm here to have fun. I thought it was funny. That's all it was, Bria, in the meantime, tells Simon, oh, this is, it's karma because nobody cared when it was in front of Simon, but now it's in front of husbands. I bet you everybody has a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I still stand on what I said last week, is that Shanice is wrong. And whatever is going on in her life that she thinks that's just okay thing to do, she needs to get some counseling for that. I mean, she's just totally wrong doing that in front of all those folks. So I don't blame Bria for being upset. I do find it interesting that Jasmine didn't get upset.
Right.
When Simon's sitting out there, or Silas is sitting out there and sees it, Jasmine was like okay with it. I'm like, what? I don't know any women I've ever dated who would be just okay with their friends flashing me.
That's right, because she was upset when it happened in front of Simon, right?
Bria was upset when it happened in front of Simon. Jasmine never really got upset about it.
No, right. That is true. Jasmine That is interesting because you'd expect her to be a little upset, but she had her own things to deal with this episode, and we'll get to that a little bit too. But one of the things I had a problem with Jasmine in this episode was right at that party, because once Shanice comes downstairs, she asks, hey, so did you speak to Alex yet? And she's like, no, but I'll talk to him tomorrow, right? Now, granted, Shanice even said this when she's leaving the house. Like, she's not a confrontational person. She said this before. We've heard this the last weekend that she was there. She's not a confrontational person. She'd rather just brush it off and keep going. Let's have fun. Like you said, there's obviously some trauma somewhere there, right? But what does Jasmine do? She brings it up to the group. Your friend just told you, I will talk to him tomorrow. This is not the time or the place. And what does she do? She says, well, let me throw your shit on the table real quick.
Right. And this whole thing bothers me. And not just the fact that Jasmine brought it up, but my thing is, if you did some stuff that wound up going viral and everybody knows about it, just own it and leave it at that. You don't have to have a conversation with Alex. You don't have to say, well, let me just tell you what happened. No. Just say, yep, crazy stuff in my life, and just move on and say, hey, I've grown from that, and just leave it. But there's no conversation she needs to have with Alex. There's nothing that she can say to Alex where Alex is going to go, oh, really? You know what? You make a good point.
Yes.
I shouldn't think that about you. No, what you did was terrible, and just own that. But why would Jasmine bring that up when Shanice was saying, hey, we'll talk about that later? Why bring it up to the group anyway?
Because, like Naomi said, Jazz had a scene to produce. Yes, she's the cast producer, is what she is. Because that's exactly what she did. I mean, she's like, well, this seems like some high drama. Let's bring it in right now. Simon, as he notices this is happening, is like, you know what? Excuse me, I'm going to get it from the table right now. You people seem to have some things to discuss.
Yeah. I'll let y'all handle that because this was before my time. So I'll be right. I'm going to check on Bria. Be right back.
What I didn't understand was Summer didn't like the fact that Alex Googled everybody in the house. My question is, why didn't you Google everybody in the house?
And in the day and age of technology that we are in, Google everybody. Like why? Why not? And she's like, well, I just looked at people's Instagram, but I didn't look at them. I'm like, I would have. Yeah. If I'm going to be in a house with a bunch of strangers, I would love to find out as what I can. And you may Google Summer and maybe not find anything but her social media pages. To me, that's a win. But you Google Shanice and you see stalker and all this other stuff. You're like, she cray.
I mean, and the thing about it, even looking at somebody's Instagram, right? Instagram is the best parts, the story that they want to tell, right?
Right.
And Twitter is where you find out their true feelings. That's where people get to Twitter and start ranting because it's gone. Instagram is right there. People show everybody's having a great time. Everybody's rich. Everybody's traveling on Instagram. Twitter, everybody's mad at their significant other, right? It's like two social medias.
Well, and on Google, you can find public arrest records and all these different things. Like Instagram, hey, great. I'm going to go to Google. I need to find out other stuff besides what you just posted on Instagram.
Exactly.
Just to be on the safe side.
Stacey says, I look at all social media pages and any other thing my nosy self could find. See, that is what you call self-awareness right there. She said, any other thing my nosy self can find. Self-awareness. Because you're like, look, you do it. Google people.
I do. I see nothing wrong with Googling people, but especially in this situation where you're going to be on a reality show and you're going to be living each other for the summer. Why not? Just to have a good idea.
No Channel agrees with you, says there's nothing wrong with Alex Googling people he's about to live with. Yes, because it's not like, oh, we're going to go hang out. Oh, we're going to spend a weekend. He's going to live with them for 15 days. I need to know which one of y'all are crazy. Plain and simple.
100%. 100%. And got to give a quick shout out to my auntie for saying, hey, what's up? Because I just saw her at the family reunion. And I was like, do you watch the podcast? Have you checked? I just haven't watched. I'm like, well, you should.
Hey, so, checking in from Facebook too. Look,
thank you for checking in.
Everybody's on YouTube. Look, I love this. Look, Great House says, clearly nobody Googled Phil. Lord, yes, you're right. But And see, this is exactly why you Google, because everybody that knew Phil, what did they say? Oh my God, he's the greatest guy. Oh, he's the best.
Yeah. Except for Alex. Alex didn't have anything positive to say about Phil because I'm sure he figured it all out before Phil even got there. So he knew what he was going to be dealing with. And I think you should. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with Alex Googling folks to make sure that they are legit. I'm very supportive of that.
Now, the thing that I didn't like was then, so Jordan jumps in and she starts attacking Alex in this space, right? And saying, well, he brought it up and he did this and he did this. And even the producers go back and show what Alex is talking about. Like Alex says, wait a minute, I didn't bring this up. I didn't bring this up at this table here. I'm not the only one that's discussed this. And come to find out, he was not. Everybody else was talking about the whole Shanice thing. He was part of the conversation. And they showed that in some of the footage, that the unreleased footage, because we hadn't seen this footage before. But Jordan was making him the scapegoat in all of this. Like, she just pointed all her anger towards him because he said she was thick, looking thick today.
Jordan's a problem. Again, get yourself some counseling. I mean, let's really look at Jordan. You posed nude and you did all these things for attention, finances, likes, whatever the case may be. This is what you're about. And then you're going to get upset because someone you feel sexualizes you. That is insane to me. Mm-hmm. That is insane to me. Imagine a prostitute standing on the corner getting mad because you're looking at her.
But
that's insane.
That's going a little far. And
I'm not calling her a prostitute. I'm just saying.
I'm just telling you how.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying she's a prostitute. I'm just saying that if you are a prostitute on the corner, showing all your stuff, and people are staring at you, and you get mad because they're staring at you, that's you. Whatever Jordan's dealing with, that's a Jordan problem that she's trying to put on other people. Everything about your life that you've built for yourself has been something that was sexualized. And all he said was you were thick. And that triggered you.
It triggered her, and you could tell that it did. And she did not let go of that from before the setup. And that's why she came at him. Because, here's the thing. Alex gets up from the table. He leaves. He comes back. And said, Jason said he could have handled it differently. Alex is like, well, what did I do wrong? And he's right, because nobody held Jasmine accountable for bringing it up in the first place when it's not her thing to bring up, right? So I get where you're going in this place, right? And the whole thing about Jordan, as we just put a bow on the rose party, because Jordan then takes over this entire show for a minute. And it's like Stacey says, Jordan is a walking contradiction to me, right? And the reason being because, like you said, she made it a thing of pride, a badge of honor that, hey, I was the only black playmate of the year, right? The last playmate of the year. All these things, that's what it is. And then the fact, every time somebody said something about the way she looked, she took offense to it. And to that point, even, I think, was it Bria who said, if you Google Jordan, you see her naked.
Yep.
She's more than that.
Right. She could be more than that. But what you put out there, that's what people are going to see. And so that is the, I guess, consequence of that action that she did where she posed for Playboy. Posing for Playboy is not wrong. I have no issue with that. I think it's great. I think she looks great in the photo shoots that she did. But don't all of a sudden get mad now because you feel like you're being over-sexualized. And you're not. All Alex said was, you look thick. And then she tries to go off on Amir. And all Amir said was, I'm interested in you.
Right. Well, no.
Amir's like, hey,
wait.
I like, if we're calling Dibs, I want her.
He said,
right.
Let's be honest.
But that's what he said. He didn't say like
third grade. He called dibs on her. You can't call dibs on a woman. We grown.
You can call dibs, but his dibs was not because of how she looked. It's like calling shotgun.
He didn't know anything about it.
It's like calling shotgun. It's like calling shotgun in the car. You don't only call shotgun when it's a nice car. You just call shotgun because you want to sit in the front seat. He thought everything about her was great, and it wasn't just the looks. He was into her, and he just said, "Hey, if we're gonna call dibs, I am interested." And so he didn't tell anybody. None of y'all can show interest or talk to her. He just voiced his opinion. But why is that something negative in Jordan's mind?
So and here's the thing that confuses me, right? And this is why when Stacey said that Jordan is a walking contradiction, I feel that because she is mad that Amir called dibs on her. First of all, just calling dibs in the first place is crazy. But then she goes, so nobody else, what'd she say? Nobody else would get to know her, right? She wasn't interested in anybody in the house anyway. So
exactly.
They all got to know her because they all still hung out with her. They all talked to her. It's not like everybody just avoided her. They still spoke to her. So what are you talking about? You weren't interested in any of them. And something somebody pointed out, I was having a conversation about the show today at the brunch and said, matter of fact, shout out to Lexi. It was Lexi. I was having a conversation with Lexi about it. And she said that the way Jordan talks to the guys on the show, she cannot date black men. She's like, there's no way she dates black men the way she talks to the black men on the show. Like the way she talked to, what was old boy Phil? Mm-hmm. Now, and then it's funny she said that, then all of a sudden today we're watching it and the way she goes off on Alex and Amir. I'm like, wait a minute. Is she right?
Yeah. No, she's a victim of pretty privilege. Pretty privilege allows you to try to talk crazy with people over crap. Mm-hmm. And you think you're going to get away with it because you're pretty. And not every guy is going to deal with that. I think Jordan is 100% wrong in all of this that she's trying to vent about. And I disagree with you that there's nothing wrong with guys calling dibs. And understand what happened in that situation. At this place, you have Nick, who has a girlfriend. Silas is married. Preston's gay. That leaves Alex, Amir, and Jason.
Okay. Well, Jason wasn't there yet.
And Jason wasn't even there when this whole thing happens. That just leaves Alex and Jason. We didn't even meet Phil when the dibs conversation happened. So it was pretty much Alex and Amir. And guys do this all the time to say, hey, I'm interested in so-and-so, just to let you know. Now, it doesn't mean don't talk to her. It's just letting you know, hey, I'm interested. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a property thing or wrong with that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. We've all done. You and I have done it. We're like, hey, I'm interested. Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Not calling dibs. Stop that.
We didn't say the word dibs, but in college, I was like, hey, I'm interested in so-and-so. And when I told you that, you were like, okay, I'm going to let Terrell do his thing. I'm going to focus on someone else. And vice versa. We did the same thing in college. Don't act like we did it.
But again, there's a difference in saying I'm interested in this person and calling dibs. Dibs makes it really, like Mimi says, childish. Amir was a bit childish for calling dibs on her, but if nobody else chose to step up, that's on them. So
exactly, you can call dibs. It doesn't mean that no one else can do anything. It's just saying, hey, I am interested in this person, and now the other guys don't. Now, if another guy feels a strong connection with that person and wants to pursue it, great. You can't stop it. Dibs doesn't stop it.
Thank you, Stacey. But it's a big difference. I'm interested in dibs. There's a big difference. Stop it.
There's just a thing that guys do that say, hey, I'm calling dibs. I want this one. Nothing wrong with that.
You call dibs on some lamb chops. You call dibs on a good steak that's sitting out there on the buffet. You don't call dibs on a woman. Stop it. Stop it. You are too old and too grown to be talking about calling dibs.
I wouldn't call dibs. I'm 40. I'm 48. I don't call.
Not even in college. You never did that. Stop it.
I did. You are lying to this audience.
You are lying.
I did. We have done it. We have said, who are you interested in? Okay, cool. I'm going to focus over here because Jan likes that one. And I'm going to focus on this one. And if it didn't work out, I'd be like,
not
hey,
on the woman.
Hey, if you, this ain't working out. If you want to switch, yeah. We did this in college.
Even the last slice of pizza, you can call dibs on that, not on a woman.
We can all agree to disagree. I see nothing wrong with a guy making the dibs comment.
Oh my God. I can't believe you actually even say that.
I just see nothing wrong with it. I get it. It's just saying, hey, everybody attention to the only available straight male in the house. I am interested in this person. Just to let that one straight male know, the single straight male know I'm interested in that person. There's nothing wrong with that.
Look, Toya says it right. Using the word dibs is wrong. That's the part. That's the part. And Stacey's got a warning for you here. She's not going to pay attention. I just want to point this out real quick. Terrell, there are mostly women here. Step lightly.
I didn't say anything bad towards women, and I think everyone that listens to the show knows my mouth and just knows I just say what I think. All I'm saying is I don't see anything wrong with that. There's nothing derogatory or negative about a guy saying that comment. And again, Amir said it to the only single straight male that was available in the house.
Right.
It wasn't like he told his whole fraternity, everybody, the whole chapter, nobody can touch Jordan.
Yeah.
I call dibs. Not the case.
Now, Najee says Jordan got conflated and exaggerated her issues to create a point. She got very aggressive, then cried to make herself the victim. Is that what you kind of saw in this space? Because again, she did get aggressive with Alex and even with Amir. And then next thing you know, the next morning, she's talking about, because she actually has a conversation with Amir because he's sitting there, right? And who was there talking to? Was it
Silas?
It was Silas that was talking. Said,
that night. Yeah, it was that night before Amir went to bed.
So they're having a conversation, and then Amir's laying on the couch. So he jumps into the conversation, and she then says, "Well, why'd you get up and walk out of the conversation we're having at the table?"
Yeah. Again, that's a sign of crazy town. Why'd you walk away when I tried to?
When I tried to attack you.
When I tried to attack you for no reason, if you cared, you'd have stayed. I'm like, that's crazy talk. That is just, I don't blame Amir for walking off, and I don't blame Amir for being frustrated because out of everybody in that house, Amir was all about Jordan. He was very respectful to Jordan, and he tried to connect with Jordan outside of the looks. Maybe that's what she's used to. Everybody goes at her because of how she looks. He was trying to connect with her as a genuine human being. Yep. She's not interested. Cool.
Took a kayaking and all, yes.
Yeah, that's totally cool. But for her to lash out at Amir, and I don't blame Amir for speaking up because I'm right here on the couch. I can hear you. Yeah. So I am gonna sit up and defend myself and say something. But for her to have the mindset that everyone has been sexualizing me and no one has stood up and said anything. The only time I've heard her get sexualized, if any, is when Alex called her thick. I don't think that he should ever said that. I mean, you don't tell any woman, "Hey, girl, you thick." Now, if she says, "Hey, thick thighs save lives," be like, "Yeah, you are thick." Then it's positive. But she started it. She started it. It wasn't like I just walk up to somebody like, "Girl, you thick." You never say that. But Alex is the only one that's ever did it. But for her to come at Amir in that way really bothered me. For Amir,
especially since, like No Challenge says, the issue is she never told Amir she wasn't interested, right? Remember, she's like, "Oh, well, he knows I'm not interested," and he's like, "Oh, I'm very interested," and she knows. I think she's interested in me too. Remember that whole thing put together. But then, like you said, he would have backed off for someone else to step up if she'd at least said that. So the fact that she never really addressed it head on, and it seems like everything she's addressing, and I'm noticing this now, it's always in an aggressive manner, right? Whenever she's, and you really can't say that because you don't want people to say she's trying to be the angry black woman, but I'm not saying that she is. Just saying that at this point, for her, it's like she's attacking everybody in this space, right?
She is, but she's attacking everybody as a result of her, I'll even say this, poor choices. You put yourself out there in a way, and now you don't like what's, you don't like all the attention you're getting from the way that you put yourself out there. She was the one that bragged about her Playboy. What'd you say that she was the first black woman to what?
Black Playmate, I think it was, yeah.
Okay, yeah. She put all that out there. She did all this. Now the attention you're getting, you don't like, and you feel like you're being over-sexualized. Why else would you think that? Imagine if someone was a porn star and they're like, "I get tired of people coming to me talking about my videos and my films that I made doing porn." I'm like, "But you did it.
Right.
Why are you upset that that's what they recognize you for?" Because that's what they recognize you for. They don't know you as the car hop at Sonic when you were 16. They look at you as though you were the porn star. Jordan is known for her Playboy stuff. If you want to change that narrative, do something different.
Well, the next day she calls her dad, and Daddy was ready to come up there. He's like, "Do I need to come up there right now?" He did what dads was supposed to do, right? And she, of course, explains the whole thing about Amir calling Dibs, and but the whole dad conversation went exactly the way that we expected it to, right?
It's what we would expect from a dad
Mm-hmm.
who just loves their baby girl so much,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't tell her the truth. Because to me, the question the dad should have asked is, tell me what happened. What did you say? Why did you say that? Like, ask some questions. Just don't take your baby girl's side.
Of course you are.
Ask some
You're
questions
going
to figure it out. But
going to.
if she calling you upset because she feels she's being sexualized, to me, the dad should have said, didn't you do Playboy?
No,
You did, didn't you? The dad should have been honest with his daughter. Be like, hey, you did Playboy, right? Why do you think this would not happen? Am I wrong? I mean, I know I'm not a parent, and I've never had kids, and I will never know the love that a parent has for a child. I get it. But I'm just saying that why not be honest with your kid and be like, you did Playboy and you bragged about that. You were, and against my wishes, you did this. Now you have these people that are sexualizing you and you're upset about it. Help me understand that. Make it make sense.
See, this is why God didn't give you kids yet.
Yeah. So I'd be like, what did you do? Well, because if there was a Terrell Jr., there's no way in hell he would be on a reality show. I'd yank him up quick.
See, this is exactly what we're talking about. Hilarious. Look, so a lot happening as it rolled through the show, right? But, to get ready for the soul food dinner, and of course, it's a soul food lesson for Amir. Sometimes something black happens in the household, it's got to be a lesson for Amir, right? But when everybody starts coming down for the food, why did Silas call Simon White Rick Ross?
I made that note. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I was thinking at first when I heard it, I thought White Boy Rick.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but even still, I don't get it. So it's Silas. He says all kind of crap. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, Preston, a.k.a. Big Mama, had Jason bless the food. The praying man that you are, how did you enjoy his grace?
I'm sure they probably cut out some of it. But I'm not a big praying man, so I'm like, hey, you do whatever, say whatever. But it seemed like it. My guess is his prayer was probably a lot longer than what they showed on the show, knowing Jason.
So Jason could tell a story, huh?
Yeah, Jason was his heavenly father. I was thinking last week before I came out, and like 10 minutes in, and bless us for this food that we're about to receive. Let be nourishing to our bodies.
And I remember back when Jasmine and I were roommates. And
Jasmine and I used to pray like this a long time ago. Remember Jasmine? And just tell a story. And we're like, hey, food's getting cold. Wrap it up. Amen already. Let's go.
Amir tells us this was his first soul food dinner, right? First time having fried chicken, chicken that he fried. I can't laugh at him because I don't fry chicken either because, I'm just not a big fried food person.
But you've had fried chicken.
He didn't say he didn't have fried chicken. He said it's the first one he's fried himself.
Could be. But I just thought that was funny. I'm like, come on, Amir. You've had some fried chicken before. Whether you fried it, someone else fried it, you've had fried chicken before. It's okay.
Hey, Robin says, I wanted some of those greens with the ham hocks. I got some hocks in the freezer now. Might have to cook some greens myself after that. So was dinner as soul food on a soul food level of 1 to 10? What would you give it? Just looking at the food.
I don't know. It looks good. I've never made greens.
Mm-hmm.
I've cooked greens out the can, but I've never made like greens from scratch. My fried chicken is bomb. It's really delicious, so I can say that's good. But it looked pretty. It looked pretty good. That mac and cheese to me looked a little suspect, just off visual. It just looked like I'm like I don't think that's right. It just didn't look good to me. It looks overcooked. It just seemed like when Bria was cutting out her little square of mac and cheese, it just seemed too hard. Like, you cut cornbread. To me, that's what the mac and cheese looked like. Like she cut a cornbread square out of the mac and cheese dish. And I'm just saying, mac and cheese is not supposed to do that.
You said you cooked it out of the can. Naomi says glory greens?
Yes.
How do I know that? Because I've seen these before.
Yeah.
Never cooked them myself, but I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've walked right by them in the grocery store.
And it was delicious, but not as good as from scratch. But I've never done greens from scratch.
What? So the stories that they told in education of Amir and the probably 3 to 5 white viewers of the show. What did you think of the explanation of the whole soul food and the reason for the soul food dinners and why there's a soul in the food?
I thought it was a valid explanation, because it's so true. And I think it's funny, you look at our lives today as African Americans, you hear those stories. You really don't think it's not like that was like thousands of years ago, BC. Right. That was early 1900s. People were doing this and having to make do with the scraps and try to come up with something good. So I thought it was a pretty good explanation.
I'm glad they did it. I think I'm glad it's not something that the producers cut out, right? And the simple fact of, today, I think we're so far disconnected today with social media. Everything is right now, something that happened yesterday people forget about so quickly that I think it's an easy time for people to forget the history of what it is, right? And even I don't eat collards. I don't eat what's chitlins. But even in that space, there's people that, well, why would anybody eat chitlins? But you have to understand the history behind it, right? And I'm glad they kind of told this story just a little bit. It was a brief thing, but I'm glad they at least spoke about it and just gave a little understanding to hey, if you didn't hear this in your house, let me explain something to you real quick.
Yeah. I remember my mom, when it came to the pig, she would say from the rooter to the tutor. So you eat all of it, and chitlins are delicious.
I can't say I've ever had them.
Yeah. If they're made right, they're delicious. Mm-hmm. I've seen some people just watching their prep. I'm like, I'm not eating that. Just the way you're doing it, that's not going to work for me.
Funny you should say that. Lucy B says Preston looks to have kitchen skills. Preston's been the star of the show. Let's be honest. Apparently started the kitchen too, right? Now at the same time, she also says Bria can cook a mean steak when tipsy though. Because remember last week's episode, she cooked that steak. That steak did look good.
Okay, the skirt steak they did there to me looked way overcooked. It looked burned. I was like, ooh.
What happened? It didn't have enough blood in it for you?
It just looked, it looked way overcooked to me. Just when I saw it, it just looked way overcooked. It didn't look juicy and flavorful as I would like.
Let's see, Glory Green's bomb. And Robin says it was a decent explanation of soul food. Too bad I didn't have time to discuss oxtail, neck bones, and chitlins. Yeah, I mean, they had no chitlins in the house. But yeah, you're right. I mean, so they did, at least they gave the overall and the umbrella explanation of it. So I think that was good. Even though Toya says a man needing to be educated on everything black is so annoying. But this is what you have. This man has not been around this many black people at any one time in Austin. So they're educating them.
I'm annoyed with it myself. I agree with that comment because, again, if Amir wanted to be around more black people, he could. And in Austin, I live here. Mm-hmm. We're not going to be like, wait a minute, you mixed. You can't hang out with us. You need to go over there. We don't do that. Austin's pretty chill. So I put that more on him of not knowing a lot about his own black culture.
This is an interesting comment here from No Challenge. Said my realization of time was my grandma, because you said this wasn't that long ago, right? And it says my realization of time was my grandma telling me her parents met on the cotton field. Like, dang. Yeah. Think about hearing that. Like, wait a minute, what? Because it's
Yeah,
it's not that far. We think of it as so long ago. Dang.
it's really not.
Right.
It's really not.
Exactly. Oh man, look, it's so much to unpack in this, man. Especially once we move on to the next thing, which is Preston's pride party. Right. First things first, you notice Summer sets the drinking level to blackout. I like how they see us pouring it, and they're like, "Okay, here we're gonna start from here, from sober," and she just pours almost like the whole damn bottle in there.
Yeah, there's certain people that shouldn't be allowed to mix the cocktails. You got to know what you're doing. You just can't just, I don't know. I'm just going to keep pouring and see what happens. Yeah, no, that's bad. And I was watching her do it. I'm like, okay, you might have put too much alcohol, but let me see if you know how to salvage the drink.
Yeah.
You need to add more fruit juice, add more of this, add some more ice so that the water or the ice can kind of help bring down some of the alcohol content. There's different things you could do to that, mix it up. But I don't even know what she was making because it looked like vodka or gin.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what she was putting in the blender.
Right, because it looked like orange juice.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're making.
Well, Preston then gives the history of a history of pride,
Right.
and about the pride riot, which again, today's episode was about education a little bit, and history of soul food and history of pride, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting more from the pride party itself. It's great that Preston got to give an explanation and a little bit of the history of what pride means and why it's so important. And I respect him in the fact of, as a black man, he has, you got Juneteenth and everything related to that. And maybe what he experienced as a black male, but then also what he experiences as a gay male. And so there's just a whole lot to unpack there. And so I respect that he recognizes both and brought up both parts of who he is into the group, into the conversation. I really like that about him.
Why did the guys have to do a dance routine for the pride party?
I didn't quite understand that either.
Right.
I didn't understand that either. Like, what is going on?
Was that for his enjoyment? Is that what it was? Look, you entertain me. I'm going to sexualize y'all right now.
Yeah. Y'all been doing it as Jordan for weeks. It's my turn.
My turn. Let's get some equality up in here. I don't even want the women to dance. Y'all dance. I didn't understand it. I was like, what is this for?
Yeah,
really?
I didn't get what that whole thing was. And I was just like, okay, maybe they're doing a talent show and just something else to do. But I didn't see what that had to do with anything with pride.
Right. I did not understand it. But something else I didn't really understand on this show today was Silas and Jasmine, right? The argument started as they were prepping for the party about the pants. His pants. Apparently, she messed up his pants. And he makes a big deal about it initially. They get past it. They walk on. They go to the party. They go to the soul food dinner. They go to the pride party. But then, at the end of the night, he wants to talk about the pants again and says that she effed up his pants because she doesn't know how to effing iron.
And maybe she doesn't.
Exactly. She wasn't in the military, Silas.
Yeah.
I know a lot of women who don't iron, who literally come out to dry, hang it up, the wrinkles will fall out.
Exactly. And maybe she doesn't. But then if that's the case, iron your own shit. But I mean, seriously, if I felt that my partner couldn't iron, that would never be her job. I would always iron my own stuff. You don't have to worry about it.
He wants a maid.
So
he doesn't want a wife. He wants a maid.
Well, he wants a housewife, and housewife, that's their job. And so if that's what Jasmine signed up for, you need to go on YouTube and learn how to iron and learn how to not squirt somebody's clothes. Figure that out. If you want peace in your house,
go to YouTube University.
Go to YouTube. Learn. How to do it.
Silas wants to mold Jasmine. I'd burn his clothes and food purposely. And Stacey O says, to your point, I'm sick to death of Silas. Even if you are a stay-at-home wife, you aren't his freaking slave. Iron your own stuff.
But that's the thing about the whole stay-at-home mom deal, because I don't say that every stay-at-home mom they should be ironing clothes. What I am saying is that when a couple chooses for one to work and one to stay home, then you got to have the conversation about who's responsible for what duties. Right. And in their conversation, if he was like, Jasmine, I need you to iron my stuff. And she says, okay, daddy, well then friggin' iron and do it right. If you don't know how to iron, go to YouTube and watch a video. If iron is not your thing, say, hey, Silas, let's talk about this ironing thing. No, I'm not going to do that. I will make your eggs and bacon every morning, but I'm not going to iron your clothes. And then we will be having this conversation. So if you chose to be in that role where your job is to iron, well, figure it out. Learn how to iron.
Maybe he says, iron your own damn pants and make your own damn breakfast. I'm on vacation anyway. Now, this is the problem I have. They're on vacation. What the hell? Like, dude, I mean, and I get it. You know, he wants a woman to pamper him, plain and simple, right? But even she's like, look, your mentality is a turnoff, which obviously just takes him up to another level. But his mentality is this of, it gives drill sergeant, it gives slave master, it gives woman, do as I say, and that's it.
Okay, let me defend my frat brother real quick. And this one,
please try
this one part. I agree. And there was a interview that he did where he's watched the show and learned a whole lot. So I get that.
He learned not to do it on camera again, but go ahead.
True. But here's the thing about them. And what's really funny is what he said in an interview, when they were filming the show, they've only been married 2.5 months.
Yes.
They had to be, Jazz will make it seem like they've been married for decades.
No, she didn't stop it. No.
I'm just saying that she's been like married life is so hard. It's been 2.5 months.
Oh, yeah.
That's because Jasmine started crying at the dinner when they got the watches. When they got the watches, she's talking about how hard it is to be married and all her single friends. It's been 2.5 months.
Because he's a lot. He's a lot.
He's a lot. But here's what he is. That I think that why they got together. I'm not defending. All I'm just saying is, I think that what Silas brings to Jasmine is structure, and Jasmine hasn't had that, and she's lived this, live by the seat of her pants kind of lifestyle, and that led her to sleeping in a car for a period of time. So Silas brings a level of structure that she's not had, and that's where they maybe can help each other. She has this wild spirit and he needs to loosen up. He has the structure. If this was Married at First Sight, Pastor Cal would be saying, hey,
them together.
They would put these two together. So.
They would put them together. You're absolutely right.
Exactly.
But look, JMF says Jasmine isn't Silas's property, right? It seems he has a vision of what he thinks marriage should be without really considering his spouse. Control issues. And we all know he has control issues, right? And to your point, she hasn't had that structure. He does provide structure, but he's got to understand this is not one of his privates. And by privates, I don't mean on his body. I mean privates, military. I just realized how that came out when I said that. Like, Jesus Christ, how many privates does he have?
I think he treats his privates better than he does Jasmine.
As long as there's noise being made. Yeah. Absolutely right. But it's really interesting. Like you said, it's been 2.5 months. But that says a whole lot. Because they always say the hardest time is the first year, right? And if you have a great first year, it's easy to be fooled by that great first year because everybody always says the first year is the hardest. This is why they say the first year is the hardest. He is telling you why, because he's showing all these things that he expects out of his wife. And she's like, wait a minute. You should know this ain't me. I was the one, but he feels like he saved her. Remember when they talked about her sleeping in the car? Remember the way he spoke about that. He feels like he's saving her. He's Captain Saver Jasmine. Say anything else. He's Captain Save a Playboy Bunny.
He does feel like he saved her. I think I truly believe that. Uh, but I also want to believe that I would hope that people are having conversations about what you expect in a marriage before you get married.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That it's not just, hey, now that we're married, iron my shit. And I want my eggs over easy and my bacon crispy at 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
sharp. You know what I mean? Like, hopefully that wasn't like a surprise conversation to them. And so I would think that couples would have these conversations of what their expectations are. If they had that conversation that
Mm-hmm.
says, my expectation is this, and she's not living up to what she said she would do, Silas then would be right. Even though we might not like the fact that they agreed upon certain terms, he would be right. She's not pulling her weight at the end of the bargain, at the end of the day. But I find it odd that these are like be new things to her to figure out.
So, okay, interesting you should say that, because Mimi says, my question for Jasmine is, was he doing all this before the wedding, or did he start this nonsense after? And something tells me this is him anyway. However, they met during the pandemic. The world just started reopening when they started shooting this. So this is really new for them in that space. And let's be honest, during the pandemic, everybody was slightly different when you're cooped up in the house. And there's that, right? But Stacio has also a great question. Why are we being told Jasmine is a screenwriter? If that is true, then why is she serving him if she has her own job? Well, that's more like of a, even if she's a screenwriter, if it's not picked up, you're not getting compensated for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we could all be screenwriters right now. We could all write a script. But if it's not sold, no one's performing it. You can call yourself a screenwriter, but you don't have anything on. I don't know, but I don't think Jasmine works, and I think she even said that she's pretty much stay-at-home housewife. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe that's her goal, is to be a screenwriter, and she's working on that in between eggs and bacon and ironing clothes. She's working
at least
on
until Mariah left the house.
Yeah,
she hadn't written shit since then.
Yeah. And if that was her writing buddy, well, she might be starting from scratch.
Yeah, she's ass out.
I'm not too sure. But again, this is the relationship that they chose. Mm-hmm. And I do think Silas was way over the top over the scorched pants, because not she did it on purpose. And here's the thing about irons. A buddy of mine is in hotel management, and I learned this from him. I worked in Marriott Courtyard at Spring Hill Suites hotels. And so I understand this about irons in hotels. Sometimes those irons, they're not cleaned really well. Right. And so you can easily scorch your clothes trying to iron and steam something and mess it up. Learn that about going for a job interview.
And there's water, something that would leak
out.
It's stained. Yes.
Exactly. It could happen. So I don't think she purposefully, messed up his pants. It's just maybe that iron at the Airbnb they're staying at needs some attention.
Now, Toya, I think, is also on your side, because she says, I think that Silas had that conversation and Jasmine agreed, but now she can't keep up. Jasmine thinks we're on vacation. Let's be on vacation. And Silas, who, and somebody's pointing this out as well, too. Hold on, I want to see if I find that. Said that he's been on the computer this entire time anyway, right? So he's still in work mode. He's still in regular life mode, because he's still working this entire vacation, regardless. When you're on vacation, you're like, well, I'm going to check my email anyway. That's where he is. So he's expecting the exact same thing, while she's like, no, we're on vacation for 15 days. Party up.
Yeah, but if you're the primary breadwinner, you might not be able to check out for 15 days.
True.
And somebody still has to keep working to help pay for this trip that y'all are on. So I see nothing wrong with him still being in kind of,
somehow
work mode.
You got to defend.
But I mean, well, it's not about him being my fraternity, but I'm just saying, let's be honest. You have a man who, he's the primary breadwinner. She's not working. So he still has to work. And maybe he doesn't have a full 15 days of PTO he can take off. So maybe he has to work remotely for a few days. I don't know their situation, but somebody has to keep working. And the fact that he's doing that, there's nothing wrong with that. I get that they're on vacation, but I still think that Silas is wrong, but also I think Jasmine is wrong. And I really was annoyed that the next morning after the fact, she's talking to Jason about how I'm arguing with Silas. To me, why are you telling your business?
Yes.
With these other folks. You are my best friend. I've known you for 30 years. I have no idea if you and your wife ever had an argument because I've never heard about it.
Because you never will.
Exactly. Exactly.
Unless I'm
it's not my place.
I need a couch.
Yeah. It's just, I need a couch or I need a place to lay low for a few days until things settle down.
Wait a minute. Hold on. My wife watches this, okay? What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm just saying that I've known you all this time. And not once have you ever called me going, man, this girl's tripping. I have no idea. Why is Jasmine first thing in the morning gonna go tell Jason about her argument with Silas?
I agree with you there. Do not talk what happens in our household. And this is one thing my wife and I agree on all the time, right? She's a private person. I'm a private person. We don't share our business with anybody else. Even when we first started dating to now. Right in that space, because it's nobody else's business. And the minute you invite people into your business like that, you have no idea. You seriously dating anybody? We've never had certain conversations about that for a reason, right? And the same thing here. If I'm seriously dating somebody, we don't have certain conversations for a reason, because you don't invite people into that conversation all the time, and she's wrong for doing that. So I agree with you there. However, after she goes downstairs and slaves over a hot stove and cooks him some breakfast and brings it up to him, he's like, yeah, take that shit back.
I told you I don't eat starches.
Don't eat that shit.
I'll eat starches. But, okay, here's the thing. Everyone knows don't bring Yanni veggies. Don't bring Yanni veggies. So it wouldn't be a surprise. You're like, what the hell is this shit? I'm not going to eat this. She knows her man doesn't eat starch.
No, he said bread.
Well, first he said bread, then he said starches. So he gave her a whole category of things I don't eat. Don't bring me this bread. So she knows her man. She should have brought to him. They're gonna get mad. You don't eat this bread that I know you don't normally eat back home, but on vacation you're not gonna try bread. No, I'm not.
I'm gonna tell you why she did that. Right. So here's why she did that. When they woke up, what did he come out of the bathroom and say? Hey, can I use your toothbrush? Because I use mine to clean my pants. That's your frat brother. I just want to point that out.
That was educational for me. I'm like, oh, it's when you're married, you still have to ask about using someone else's toothbrush. Or you would still even do it, because I would never. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go to the store real quick. I need to buy a new toothbrush because I used mine to try to fix the pants that you messed up. Mm-hmm. Baby, why don't you just use my toothbrush? No, thank you. I'm gonna go use. I will kiss you in the mouth and do all kind of dirty things with you, but I will not use your toothbrush. So I'm like, I would not want someone to use my toothbrush. Go to the store real quick. Go buy you a toothbrush.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Look, here, use this washcloth.
Yeah. Go old school. Here's some Listerine and a washcloth. You make that happen, but you better not put my toothbrush in your mouth.
The fact that, well, okay, at least he asked, because he could have just done it. There's that. He's like, I paid for this toothbrush. Just like he said, I paid for all these dresses. I paid for that toothbrush, so I'm going to use it as my toothbrush too.
Well, you let me wake up and grab my toothbrush and it's already wet. I'd be like, you ruined my whole day. I'm pissed.
Look, she needs to go clean her sneakers with his toothbrush next time.
Yeah. No, I don't care how much I love you. We are not sharing toothbrushes. That's just gross.
It's got to be dire straits to get to that point, right? It's got to be like, all right, look, there are no more toothbrushes in the world. There are no more wash rags. You know, the zombies are coming,
and we're gonna die.
And my teeth are gonna fall out if I don't brush them right now, and I need my teeth to eat.
We could be on deserted line. I guess we both got stank breath together. That's just who we are now.
If you're not using my just grab some sand.
Yeah, you're not using my toothbrush. I'm sorry.
Yo, Great House 2 says we are fighting if you're using my toothbrush.
I mean, could you imagine waking up and then you go to brush your teeth and it's already wet? And you're like, wait a minute. Did you use my toothbrush? Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Oh, man, the fight that would happen after that.
Do you actually check your toothbrush before you get it to, or do you just grab it and put it under the water first anyway? So how would you know it's wet?
I live alone, but if I grab my toothbrush out the little jar that I keep it in and it's already wet, I feel it gets wet. The handle of it is wet. I'd be like, wait, did somebody use my toothbrush? Yeah, no, that would be a fight. There's no way. I love you to death. You could be my mama. No, you're not using my toothbrush, Mom. You just got stank breath today. Just got to deal with that.
Well, then they said, Silas, you were about to lose your job. And Lola says, I would just throw the toothbrush out. Yeah, the minute you ask that question, that shit's gone. Seriously. I'm not even waiting around to ask you, well, did you? Yeah.
I know in college I used girls.
Uh-oh.
And I didn't think anything of it. But I
this.
was like, what is this? And she said it's like one of those tongue cleaners or whatever, scrapers. I was like, so I use it. I was like, really? And I just started using it and she was pissed. And I was just like, what's the big deal? Well, now I know.
Wait a minute. You who spent previous episodes talking about never using somebody's toothbrush, you who just spent the last 5 minutes talking about that, actually did it before.
I did it, but this was college Terrell. This is Terrell like 25 plus years ago. I've learned and evolved, and now I will cut you deeply, throat punch, if you use my toothbrush. But in my early 20s, late teens, I did that, and she was livid, and that's when I learned, this is not something that you should normally do.
The ladies are not happy with you in this, man. From gross to ear, Terrell, to know you did not do that, Terrell. Tongue cleaner is worse than a toothbrush. But Robin is here to defend you. He was young and probably hungover.
I wasn't hungover, but I was just young and dumb, and we all learn. So, but at least I could admit it and say, hey, I did this and I was wrong. Unlike Silas and other folks that we know that can't. So I look at that as growth, and I look at that as a positive thing.
Oh my God. Well, interesting. It looks like, so next week's season finale, it's going to be a great one because obviously the Silas and Jasmine thing is not done, and it's going to explode it's going to explode next week. By the way, Pink Butterfly says you should have taken that to the grave.
That's why am I here? I'm sharing. I'm being vulnerable, Pink Butterfly, and do not crush me for being vulnerable and sharing.
Hey, Robin had a question, but even before the show started today, and asked, "Are we going to learn about Terrell's successes with the Texas two-step?" Because Amir was trying to teach Shanice the two-step.
I don't know how to two-step. I've tried to learn, and to me, dancing is more in the hips. Two-stepping is all about the feet, and I just get thrown off. So I can't relate to Amir being and the two-step in life. I've tried, I just can't do it.
Yeah. Lucy B said Shanice grew so much since 1 year ago, back when she was 28. You remember when she said that? I'm like,
yeah. Well, all that crazy stuff I did and all that with the restraining order, that was a long time ago, like a year ago. I've grown so much. I'm a very different person than I was 12 months ago. No, you're not.
I've learned to do it on Snapchat, so it disappears. Lucy also said, Jordan resents doing Playboy. She's got a big chip to get off her shoulder, and that's why she's really draining in this space because it's a lot of up and down with her, and it does. I don't know if she resents it though because she wore it as a badge of honor, but it's like, yes, I was naked, but don't judge me for that.
Exactly. You can't wear it as a badge of honor and then get mad when people judge you for it. And I don't think any of the guys were judging her for Playboy. Mm-hmm. You had Alex that called her thick. That was it. And that triggered her and set her off. So to me, Jordan I think there's more of an issue than maybe it could be the Playboy thing, but there's just something else there in her head that she probably needs some counseling.
Robin says, thick as me. I was the body trend ahead of its time. 38, 26. you can't handle the rest.
Yeah, Robin.
Hey, Pink Butterfly said, Terrell thinks like my father. Don't call me unless you're ready to hear my honest opinion. Be ready for the reactions for your actions.
Agree with your father 100%. Yes. Don't call me with that mess when you have to own up to your actions, what you did. And just don't call me to tell me what everyone else did, because I'm going to ask you, what did you do? Yep. What did you say to that?
And I can say that for sure. It's the thing about it is, and I think you and I are in the same space of the fact that we tend to do that and have friends around us that do the same thing, for the simple fact of we don't have yes friends. You know, the friends that are going to say that you were right all along. It's always going to be the sense of like, all right, no, you were wrong in this case. Because honestly, that if you're going to call me so I can just take your side, that's not the way to go. And if you think you're going to call Terrell he can take your side, it'll never happen.
Nope. Nope, not at all. But that's what true friends do for each other.
Exactly. So back to Jasmine and Silas. Stacy says, stay at home means you're the home manager, not your husband's personal butler.
Unless that's what y'all agreed to. That's the difference. It could be what they agreed to. We get in a relationship and we agree to you having my eggs and bacon the way I like it every morning, then do your part.
Mimi says, I disagree, Terrell. Structure and control are not the same, because you've been talked about him being, he's about structure.
What I agree. Structure and control are not the same. My point was that if this was Married at First Sight, they would pin these two together because Silas brings structure and Jasmine could use some of that. Now, whether he's controlling or not, which we all know that he is, that's a problem.
Facts. I'm actually made a note about this, and we didn't get a chance to bring it up, but No Channel, thank you, because you brought it right back to the forefront. Don't forget about Jasmine being jealous. She didn't bring the group together like Jordan did. I thought that was very telling that she said that, because she's been trying to write the script to the show this entire season. And then all of a sudden she feels Jordan brought the group together, and she was jealous of that.
I don't see how Jordan brought the group together.
I didn't see that either, but
yeah, I don't see anything about that.
I don't know what she
I think the group got together and said, hey, we're annoyed by this whole Jordan thing, so let's just all let it go. And don't call her thick. Let's not even talk about how she looks. If she smells good, no one say a word. Are we all good?
And let's be fair. Jasmine, you did, because everybody was like, hey, could y'all stop making all this goddamn noise when we're trying to sleep? Unless y'all gonna have somebody for everybody else so we can all just have a house full of sex noise. Y'all shut the hell up.
Jackhammer.
So you did bring the house together. See, just like Jordan did.
Yeah.
Good job.
And
Keely asked this question: what did the cologne do? What that
Tom
do?
Ford. Tom Ford is what I'm wearing today. She's gonna ask me every time we have a show. I'm like, now I put it on purposely just in case Keely asks me what I'm wearing. I'm like, what am I gonna wear? Yeah, so Tom Ford.
Do you feel better now that you've sprayed your cologne on?
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty.
That tells me it's time to get the hell out of here. Don't forget 90 Day Fiancé Love in Paradise tomorrow night. Wednesday, Married at First Sight. We are back for the part 1 of the 2-part reunion. As we wrap this season up and get ready for the next one, because the next one's got to probably start, a day later? As long as this one's gone?
Yeah.
Oh, before we get out here, a quick question that Mimi asked, and I thought this is interesting because we haven't seen it. Speaking of sex, has Bria had Eddie? All we've seen is them turning each other down.
I don't know, but I mean, if he has all the money, does she really still need the sex? Is that what she's in it for? I don't know.
That's what she was complaining about. I don't want to hear them having sex if I'm not having any.
Well, I mean, this is her opportunity. Have all the sex you want.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see. I'll be back next Sunday for Summer House Martha's Vineyard, the season finale. You know the reunion is going to be off the chain. There's a lot to unpack there.
It will be. I'm curious to see who the host of the reunion will be.
Right. Hopefully it's not Andy. Unfortunately,
Yeah, if it's somebody good that's gonna like pull some stuff out. If it's Andy Cohen, Andy could probably dig some stuff out too. So maybe.
Yeah, because Andy's not. Here's the thing: Andy's not afraid to ask the questions. Why? Because he's like, I pay all y'all. Answer my goddamn questions.
Yeah.
You want this check? You like that watch, right? You want your check?
Take the watch off. Give it here. Give the watch back.
But Simon gave it to me.
Who else want to answer a question around here? Huh?
Hey, I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm Just Terrell.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Yep. Send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit from the internet. We'll talk about it on the regular show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.
See, I slept so I could have another drink now.